my name is Megan and welcome to Wanderlust Voyages. We are here to tell you all about Morocco, from the cities to the culture to the cuisine. If you'd like to learn more about Morocco, please be sure to like this video and subscribe, hitting the notification bell so that you are notified of all of our future uploads. Today we are going to be doing a Moroccan recipe. It is currently Ramadan, and in Morocco that usually means there's going to be a lot of special sweets made. Kind of like in the US, around Christmas people make all kinds of cookies. Well, in Morocco they do it around Ramadan. One of the cookies that I make every year is Fekkas. Fekkas is essentially Moroccan Biscotti. So in Morocco, unlike the thick slices that Italian biscotti usually is, Fekkas is typically cut very, very thin. You also need a little bit of time to make this recipe because it is best to let it sit overnight before you slice it and bake it the second time. I have made it many times, and when I finally learned this part of the recipe, it really helped me get it a lot thinner sliced. It doesn't crumble as easily. So, without further ado, let's get into the kitchen. Okay, the ingredients for our fekkas are 2.5 cups of all-purpose flour, 1 cup of granulated sugar, 1 cup of almonds that have been roughly chopped, 1 teaspoon of baking soda, 1 teaspoon of cinnamon, a pinch of salt, and 1 teaspoon of vanilla. Now this can be either vanilla powder, like I'm using now, or vanilla extract. 1/2 cup of butter melted, and 3 eggs at room temperature. So I also have the oven preheating to 350 degrees, and I have a baking sheet with parchment paper ready. So we're going to begin with our wet ingredients. Into a bowl, we are going to crack our 3 eggs, and whisk that together. Now we're going to whisk in our sugar and our melted butter. If you're using vanilla extract, you would add that at this time as well. Next goes our almonds. And now we are going to sift in our flour and our other dry ingredients. Be sure to press through any lumps that you have. Now we just want to fold this together. Until we have a soft but somewhat firm dough. Now, for the first baking, we want to grease our baking paper and then grease your hands. Our dough is definitely a bit sticky, and so we want to be able to form it. What you're going to do is divide the dough in half. And you want to make 2 logs. You want 2 that are going to be fairly thin and an even height. And of course you want them roughly the same size and shape so that they cook evenly. All right, so these are now ready to go in our oven. They're going to go in, as I mentioned before, at 350 for 30 to 35 minutes until they are golden and set. We will see you soon. Okay, our logs have come out of the oven. You can see they are nice and golden on the top and not too dark on the bottom. Now, these are still very warm. They've only been out for a few minutes. And as soon as you can safely handle them, what you want to do is transfer them to a kitchen towel and then roll it up. All right, so these are all set. We're going to leave these overnight to cool, and tomorrow we will slice them and put them in for their second baking. I will see you tomorrow. Okay, it is day 2. We are back, and the oven is once again heating to 350 degrees. And now we just want to unwrap these and make sure you have a very sharp knife. If your knife is dull, it's going to crumble the cookies. So you want to slice them very thin and on a diagonal. So of course the first slice is the end, so that's usually not usable, but that's about as thick as you want it. If you can get it thinner, great. But we're just going to slice both logs. Once you have them sliced, you want to lay them out on baking sheets. Don't worry about them being close together. This is their second baking, so they can get a little snug on the pan. And for these extra little bits, it's already baked. You can just eat those plain. So I'm going to slice the other log, and then we're going to bake this at 350 for another 10 to 15 minutes until they are crisp. We will see you then. Okay, these have come out of the oven. They are nice and firm. Now, as soon as you are able, you do want to move them onto a wire rack to cool. Because if you leave them for too long on the pan, then that heat is just going to get trapped and it can make them soft again. And we don't want that. We want nice, crispy fekkas. And there you have it, delicious, crispy fekkas. And just like its Italian cousin, it is wonderful with a cup of Moroccan tea. And like many other Moroccan cookies, you can have all kinds of variations on this. You can add dried fruits, you can change the nuts, you can adjust the spices, you can add sesame seeds. A lot of people also make a coffee glaze that they brush on top and then use a fork to make patterns so that you have a wonderful crosshatch pattern on the edge. So I hope you will give these a try, and if you do, please leave a comment below and let me know how they turned out. Thank you so much for joining us, and we hope to see you next time for more Moroccan recipes and more Moroccan travel advice.